Transition. Ha. So, what's going on? Today is Saturday, and it is warm out. I don't even need this coat, but this coat is like, I don't know what you call it, but I don't know. It retains heat, but doesn't make you hot. Yeah. So you can't see him, and I'm not putting cameras on people. But when I came down there was just 3 fisherman type looking guys. I mean, they had fisherman rods and all that. And then there was this woman just sitting there, like, it looked like a bathing suit, but clearly she's not going swimming. So she's just in her bra and just standing there in her bra. Just, I'm like, okay. I mean, as I said, it's not that cold today, but just standing out there in your bra. But then the other side of me is saying, I wish I had friends that would stand outside in their bra. I'd take pictures of them. They'd be my model. And we're going to leave with that one. So a couple posts back, someone said, what's up with you shooting models in the snow nude? Something like that. And the simple answer is, why not? I had a drone at the time, and I was doing my aerial shoots. And actually, most of the ideas, I didn't invent them. I seen them, and I just did my thing with it. Because back in, like, I don't know, what, 60s, 30s, some dude had a helicopter. I think he worked on a farm, and he used the helicopter for, like, something. So he had his helicopter, and he had a film camera, and there was no, like, you know how I don't know if you know, but there'd be a lot of vibrations on a helicopter and a film camera. But somehow he figured out how to get the settings right, and he got some nice looking film shots of people being nude. Like on the highway, he had his friends in cars. He had them, like, it was really interesting. If I remember, and I'll put a link to it. So it inspired me, like, hey, I want to do something like that. I got a drone. So I did all types of stuff. Went around used Google Maps to find interesting patches of land or intersections. I'd go out there to survey to see if there's not that many eyeballs. It is illegal to be out there nude. Then I found the models. All these things were just like, it was a challenge of doing it. And then, so I did a whole bunch of photo shoots during the time, and then it got too cold. And then someone's like, oh, we should do it in the snow. And then that became an idea. Why not? We got some mountains in Japan. A friend of mine lived there, whatever. So then it was just organizing it. And I guess that's that. And then, when you post these random, like, pictures, people are like, oh my gosh, I never seen that. I mean, because you're not actively looking for it. But yeah, man, that's basically it, man. Doing it because, like, I can put it this way. If all of my friends were doing it, I wouldn't do it. I would go in the opposite direction. Oh, you're going to shoot people in the snow? I'm going to shoot them in the desert. That's just high. So, yeah. The end. I was thinking about starting up again when I got here, but I basically got to start at the bottom again. Got to find models. Got to find a location. And it seems people in the States charge more. They think they special. Where in Japan, like just the other day, I got an email from someone like, hey, I'm coming from, I forget her country. Can I work with you? Can I work with you? Over here in the States, it's more like, you want to work with me? Talk to my manager. Good morning.
Good morning.
But, it's random. But, well, random in that, well, it's not random. I guess it's as random as me walking and talking. I take it back. It's not random. Anyway, But over here, or here, I live here now. But they're overcharging. I mean, I guess you charge what you think you're worth, and if you believe you're worth that. But I don't think they're worth that, so I'm not paying anyone. Anyway, plus, again, I start at the bottom, so it's like, Matthew's doing Matthew things. I use that phrase with the therapist. That's the second topic. He's like, why would you say that? You think people think you're weird? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, but it's not weird. And I'm like, yeah, it's not. If Prince can have his butt cheeks hanging out, which I've never seen, I just heard he did that, and do all the stuff Prince did, or Michael, or pick anybody, they're weird. That's not the question, but they're them. I'm weird, but I'm not them. Doesn't make that. But yeah. Well, we'll just go right on to the therapy thing. So the second one is someone was like, yeah, man, therapist, blah, 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 blah. Get yourself a black therapist. My brother said the same thing. You got to find yourself a black therapist. I don't discriminate against any. Well, I guess I can't even say that. There's things that I don't like. I don't want to sit next to a drunk person. You know? Am I discriminating against drunk people? No, because I had the experience where I was on the train. It happened 4 times. I'm on the train, guy is drunk, next thing, and it comes chunking out the air, and it lands on my shoe. I escaped the brunt, the chunk of it. Little piece laying on my shoe. I'm freaking out. Oh my gosh, there's throw up on my shoe. I forget what show it was, but they're spinning around and everyone started throwing up because they started seeing throwing up. You smell the throw up. Another time I saw someone throw up on the window on this train, and it bounced off the window and it landed on the backs of the heads of the people. Disgusting. And other times they're just a big mess you got to walk around stinging up the train. So yeah, I discriminate against people who can't hold their liquor or get drunk. Am I a bad person? I guess. But yeah, but therapists, I don't care what color you are, but I guess, certain colors, races would have different experiences. But my experiences don't fit into a color group. Like, I can't imagine the black therapist saying, oh yeah, Japan this, because I wasn't here most of the time. Anyway. But this therapist I have now, she's alright. I had 3 other ones that I had before I got to her, and they were annoying. First one, her worldview was, yeah, people are shitty. The world's fucked up. Like, no, not everyone is fucked up in the world. We determine, we should be the change we want to see. But she just came back, the world's a piece of shit. Like, that's not the type of therapy I want to hear. And then I had another one, it was a phone call. And he's like, in the Bible, I don't want to, no, not today. So, not today. And the guy sounded like he's sleeping. Yeah. And then the next guy, I had to pay him. He's like, I don't do the free ones, so you got to pay. I believe you get what you pay for, which I do believe. So I drove like an hour because he was way out there. I drove an hour up there. Now, what was cool about him is he wrote, or he does autobiography. He wrote one for himself, and he inspired. Well, he didn't inspire, because I was thinking I should make raps called, because raps are like therapy. And he said the same thing. So then Music Is My Therapy came out after I met the dude, or during. Well, I had a phone call with him, and then I met him. So between those times. But, I was telling him I ain't got the money, and it's going to get weird pretty soon. And it did get weird, and I did run out of money, so I just had to. But he's all right, just too far, and it costs money. And yeah. But I like the guy, I guess. And then this one, on the day I was coming back from that therapist, she called me, and for next week we're playing phone tag, and finally we met, and yeah. But I guess, I mean, I always say it, but I'll say it again. Therapy is no different from talking to your parents, if that's who you talk to, talking to your minister, preacher, the Pope, or whatever people you talk to within your religion, your best friends, your dog, meditating. I mean, I'll put that on another side. But your coach, your teammates, if you have someone you could talk to, I'm lacking that. There's no one. I don't even say there's no one. I can talk to people. But in general, I believe most people want to try this out if this don't make sense. Most people, if you start talking, they're going to try to give you advice. They could not, like if there was a bomb strapped and all that, and to survive, all they have to do is just, good morning. That dog tried to rush me. So here's a scenario. A bunch of people are in the room. There's a bomb strapped to their mouth. They could survive. All they got to do is not say anything. Just sit there and listen. 10 people in the room. And if they do that, they get like $1 million or something. And you go into the room, you say, man, this one girl, and right away this guy like, did you fuck her? He explodes. Now there's 9 people left. And you say, yeah, man, I bought her, good morning, I bought her a car. He's like, you bought that bitch? Boom, he explodes. And then you say, but I love her. 2 women, oh, boom, they explode. And this just goes on until there's 2 people left, 1 guy, 1 girl. And you start saying, yeah, I don't think the kid is mine, but I'm paying child support. You see the guy over there, he explodes. And now it's just the last one. Now, unfortunately, it's not who could outlast it. There's a timer on the clock, so there's like 3 minutes left. I said, yeah, I don't think the child's mine, but I'm paying child support. And we're doing okay. I help out with everything. I really like her. And I think that it's great. I just wish she would cook and clean. And you see her, boom, and she blows up. And you walk out the room with your $1 million. There's a dramatization. Maybe no one would. But my point is, people, what a big dog. If it was reversed and I'm in the room and all you gotta do is sit down and a big dog comes in, I would explode because he's not even on a leash. All right, be strong. Be strong. Be strong. All right, I'm tightening my fist. All right, I was strong. Okay, so yeah, it's hard for people to not interject because that's just what people do. And don't get me wrong, I'm thinking things. We're allowed to think stuff inside your head. I don't need to say it. Like the guy's dog's off a leash. I don't need to, you're not supposed to have your dogs off a leash. Why do I care? Now, if you bite me and we end up going to Judge Judy, I'm going to lead with that. Judge, dog was off a leash. Because usually, again, my dad watches this, and I usually win. Like, you're not supposed to have your dog on a thing. Idiot. Plaintiff wins. Or defendant. Plaintiff. I think I would be the plaintiff. Although they could have a countersuit, but he was making a video, and that really annoyed my dog, and that's why he bit him. Because he's a hater. Regardless if your dog is a hater, you still got to pay that man. So yeah, you go to a therapist, and they're neutral. They listen, and you get it out your system. Now, maybe some people want people to be cheering them on. Yeah! I just want a neutral, objective thing. But I think we're all human, so we all are going to have our slants, where we're going to lean towards. My thing, as of late, is just kind of flat. People are good and people are bad. The world's wonderful, which, again, this is nothing new. To quote a story, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times, or something to that effect. I read the book, liked the book, and as I was reading that book, I thought, wow, that's no different from now. I think that's Charles Dickerson. Someone's like, well, you read the book and don't know it? Nope, I don't care. I read it. And if I had to make a song about it, which is maybe my third topic if I get to it, but that's just what it is. And it seems, depending where and when and how, which is another book concept that kind of popped into my head, but depending where the timing of shit, you either screwed or you're, like, imagine, and this is from another book, like, it's just all, if you were a slave back in the slave days, and you mastered mastered the skill of taking a round ball, basketball, golf ball, whatever type of ball, and you could make that ball move in a way that it ends up in a hole somewhere, do you think anybody would care? You think you get like millions of dollars? No. Yeah, probably would be expected to work harder. You're big, so work harder. Pick up this and do that. They might even be afraid of you if you're so big. They cut this tree down recently. Let's see if this tree has a story to tell. I don't know why well, I guess you're in the way, but you were here before us. Yeah. He's strong. I wonder what they did with you. Maybe. Yeah. So if you're born at a certain era, like, let's take women. At a certain time, women didn't have many whatever. And in some cultures, they're still fighting that fight. But you don't, when you're in the womb, you don't click a button of what you want to be. You just end up being what you are. And when you come out, like, let's say you had a parent who wants a daughter. You come out a boy. They're disappointed. They try to hide it, or the opposite. You didn't do anything, but that's going to be your circumstances. And that's that. Color your skin. Shit. If LeBron James was born with no legs, would he still be LeBron James? Yes, he would be. But would he be him? Would he... If Jay-Z was born with some thing where he couldn't talk, would he be Jay-Z? You say, man, those questions are out of it. Maybe so, but the point is, it's not like... Anyway, so maybe just a philosophical question. But I kind of, that's where my grounding is. We are who we are. Like, my kids, not the ones, my students, the teacher loves to gossip. She'd be like, and did you hear about this one? Da-da-da-da-da. Like, now, this is really pretty to me. But she'd just be like telling her background story, which in Japan, they just didn't. But it's a language thing and whatever. But that's, again, this is her. She just, you see that kid over there? Or they're at least out the room. They'd be like, yeah, they got some issues at home. And then I'm just like, fuck. Because what are we supposed to do? Like, you have issues at home, so you come to school and it's hard for you to do school stuff because you have issues at home. So what's the fix? What's the solve? Like, do you let them just do whatever because they have issues at home? Do you ignore it? And then if they have issues at home, how much can you do? You know, like, if back in the day, if you would call my mom or dad, I would get I don't even know. Matthew seems to not be reading Shakespeare. I didn't care for it. My mom would say, read it, but not for the cultural impact. Just that's what the teacher said. I didn't. So what's going on? So it's just like this cycle. And like, as I mentioned, the school that I teach at now is on the lower end. There's not enough funding. Just a big mess. And then, but in this, the kids are the most innocent. The adults chose to work there, and the school chooses to not get more funding. I mean, I guess they're choosing to, but everything's a big mess. So when the kids are not being like I don't blame the kids. I feel empathy for the kids. Like yesterday, we were measuring stuff, and the kids are like, how do you use a roller? These are sixth graders. How do you use a roller? Where do you start? The teacher's like, you start at the 0. And I'm like, why is it that kids don't know how to use a ruler? And then I'm thinking, well, maybe that COVID thing. Because if they were being homeschooled by parents that weren't going to homeschool them or do whatever, and for those 2 years they just frolicked along, everyone got an iPad and they're just watching TikTok, when would they learn how to use a ruler? And then I went further back. I was watching Mr. Wizard and Reading Rainbow, and those were like the only shows that were really on. Then Bugs Bunny and all that, but the educational shows were right up there and they were entertaining. Now we got the Cartoon Network, we got Anime All the Time Network, we got TikTok, we got like watching Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego would at some point let you know where some things are. The Smurfs were all about, I'm not going to get into the other side of it, but they're just being Smurfy and doing Smurf stuff. That's way different from Rick and Morty, which some of my kids would be watching. So you put all that in a blender and you drink that. Yeah, the kids are going to be a little, and as teachers, we're supposed to offset that. But it appears you just yell at kids, why don't you know? Which I don't think I could Mary Poppin in this school, because I'm not a teacher. I got the most jankiest of contracts. It's an high contract. I'm not going to lose my job, but I don't have the power to do anything outside of a one-to-one. And I do. Every time I see a kid, he's littering all the time because they could eat snacks. He's like, munch, munch, munch. And they walk around. The teacher says don't walk around, but they just walk around and leave a little trail of food. So the kid drops something. And I say, hey, man, what's that under the table? He's like, it's a cracker. And he's like, my bad. And he picks it up. I didn't yell at him, berate him. Let him know that that's your crack. Because what they end up doing, they'd be like, that's not my cracker. That's not me. And the teacher says, but that's not me. Why am I picking up your shit? I don't even know why I'm down here looking at this shit. You're not going to look at that shit. But yeah, so one-to-one. But yeah, so all that's still stemming from the therapist, right? So my worldview is it's these are the things. Now, should they be that way? No. But what can we do if the teachers are not paid enough and the kids are coming from backgrounds that may or may not be conducive for learning, and it's just a big mess, right? For the kids, I feel empathy. For the teachers, I feel apathy. For the system, I feel sympathy. Those are different words, and hopefully I use them in the right way. Like, teachers, you have the choice. If you don't like teaching here, go somewhere else. Yeah, maybe it's close to where you live. Maybe you get like a discount because whatever. But the kids are under your charge and under the parents' charge until they're old enough not to be. So I say stuff like that at the therapist's office, and she says, "Oh, Matthew," and it's irritating because, again, what could you chop my arm off? Am I supposed to cry about it? Well, I mean, if you chop it off without anesthesia and all that, maybe I'll cry a little bit. And if I didn't volunteer to have my arm chopped off and you're not giving me a Bucky arm, maybe I might be upset for a while. And if it's my good arm and I have to make beats with the other, but at some point, there's no way I'm gonna survive if I keep, "Oh, you chopped off my arm, man." Like, it's just not gonna, being self-pitied and all that. I don't know why I feel this way. I think it was more of an attribute from my mom. Like, if, I don't know how it would turn out, but if my mom survived and my dad died, it would be different. Because my mom wouldn't be saying, "Oh, what happened to dad?" Like, it's, because they're two different people. Like, but she just had a resilience about her. Anyway. So, I don't know if you've seen the video. What video? You know, the videos I put up. But every time I watch that video, which it just, the very end where she says, "He's a good guy, but of course he's my son," and then she starts, like, that shit's just, on that day, I think I did record my dad. There's a different kind of, he said this, so if I was in the therapy thing, right, and I said what I just said, and a little bit of tears came out of my eyes, she would say, "Oh, you really miss your mom." Are you stupid? But anyway, again, but it is, I don't know if this is a psychopathic type trait, but it is what it is, you know? I'm a human. I feel emotions. But yeah. But yeah, I think I hit all my topics today. Yeah. So the album, you know, I want to talk about the album only because after I start the next one, I just don't know how to plug it without sounding all, I feel bad, man. I don't want to harass people. But the thing is, it's there. It's there. So if you didn't know about it, that's on you. But it is now on iTunes, but I'm gonna wait till it gets on Spotify because it's not there. It takes a while to trickle about. So once I see it's on the big ones, I'll make another video, do a little mini run of, "Hey, remember this album? Isn't this nice right here?" Like those things, man. Like right here is the spot where if I had, this is the spot that I got. If I had a nice girl with me, yeah, we'll be kissing. LIPS is under the tree. But alas, not today. Not today. Not today. Oh, speaking of, right? So at my school, I think I mentioned her before, there's a lunch lady. And she comes, I mean, she talks to everyone. I'm not so approachable. I know that. But whatever. We ended up, I mean, I asked her random questions. Can I buy some snacks? And she's like, "What snacks you want?" Like, "What snacks you got?" You know. Anyway, so yesterday it was a half day and I had to go down there to get they give them bag lunches on a half day. So I went down there to get bag lunches. And as I left, because normally there's kids during lunch, so I can't really be chatting. Kids gotta eat. But today there's no one there, and I'm just like, "Thank you." And I come back and say, "What's your name?" She said, "Evelyn." I said, "Oh, that's a nice name." I didn't say it, I thought it. Evelyn. And then I said, "Matthew." The most shorthand conversation. I didn't say, "Oh, That's a nice name. My name is Matthew. Please call me Matt. Just Matthew. That's how I be, man. And she said, oh, that's easy to remember. And then I left. Well, actually, she said, oh, that's easy. I said, yeah. But she wouldn't have heard my yeah, because for Halloween, I asked, hey, you going out for Halloween? He said, yeah, I'm taking my son. I mean, whatever. So this would say she has a son, but she didn't say, yeah, I'm taking my son with my husband, boyfriend. Now I'm reading, like, this is what I do. Put the, are you going out? I said, nope. Do you have any kids? I said, I'm a teacher. I got all these kids. But what I like about, well, I don't know her, but she said, I'm a lunch lady, but I used to be a teacher. Interesting. And now I'm getting my master's doing online classes after work as I take care of my kid. Wow, like this is just coming out. Like that little, because people, in general, people do not tell me shit. They just be, yeah, I'm going over there. Not, I'm going over there because there's a... So yeah, just giving information and letting, now, people don't know what I'm doing with all the information. I make this little file and okay, put it up. So maybe I can get her to come back down there. Well, it won't be dropping leaves. Maybe we have to throw some leaves in the air and recreate this magical kiss as Usher plays in the background. She's 35. Again, just giving, like I didn't ask her, she just said, oh, I'm 35. Like, I like that. Now, I don't go around telling people I don't go around telling people I make music. But, you know. Where we at here? We're at 32? 32. Oh, man. So, yeah, the album. Is it a success? You got to define what a success is. I read that in a book somewhere. Because we have different types of successes. Financial success. Well, we got to, like, everything got to be defined. So when people ask me, I'm waiting for them to, like, define what they mean. Otherwise, hey, you see I go over there? You want to go out with her? Does she have a boyfriend? Is she married? Was she divorced? Is she friendly? Is she crazy? She got money? Is she poor? Does she like music? Like, I need to know all of that before because looks could be deceiving. I need more. Give me more. People don't give me more. I need everything. Hey, Matt, can you make a song with me? What kind of song? What's the length? When do you need it by? And that makes you, now we're going to jump back. So people, when I'm unable to answer questions, they say that's weird. They say, that's weird. You should just talk. Don't think about it. Be more loose. Be more comfortable. But it gets you in trouble. Because then you end up doing something like, oh, I didn't really want you to do it that way. Can you do it this way? Wasting time. Annoying as fuck. And then the iterations of, oh no, I can you do it this way? Oh no, I wanted it to sound more. Then I'm like, why didn't, if you had such specific, and like, oh, you're weird. So I say to the therapist, yeah, people think I'm weird. They're like, but you're not weird. There's nothing wrong with wanting to get more information. I know that, but the people that I interact with, and then she might, well, you need to stop interacting with them. I said, I do. I have no problem saying, hey, obviously this isn't working. Peace and love, my brother, and never talk to me again. I do that all the time. But then she'll come back the next week and like, oh, it seems like you're unable to have relationships with people. Don't you want relationships with people? And it's like this circle within. I'm starting to have a problem with, like, because I'm like, we live in the world, not a bubble, or we live in the same world. Like, I can't say much about Japan life and American life because she didn't live in Japan. But we live in the same country and we have the same TV and news is always on. So if I'm like, didn't Elon Musk just fire a bunch of people? Is that a nice thing to do? Do people hate him? I brought up the rapper who died. Is it weird that he... I heard about him. I probably know more about the rapper than you do, and I don't even know anything about him. For the longest, the only reason I know their names is because when I was doing photography, one of the models like, so what are their names? And she listed them off. I know the voices because at one point I do my walks in Japan and listen to top 20 raps, and their song would come on. The song with Drake when he was in there. I don't, but I do remember like bopping along, and I remember when they said they broke up. I thought, I didn't know they're related like that, brother, cousin, uncle. But yeah, so success, defining it. The fact that I got it done is a success, because there's so many people that if I were to call them up or bump into them, hey, you doing that thing you said you're gonna do? They would start hemming and, well, you know, like, just say you lazy. Just say you have other things that are more important than that. For me, getting the album done was top of the list. Put it into context. Remember I made a video about getting life insurance? That somehow went back to the bottom of obscurity. Forgot about that shit. God forbid I do not die on this trail, because I ain't got no life insurance. So yeah, I got it completed and done. And then bonus points, the videos, those are just like, because originally I think I posted it here. I don't know where I posted it, but I made a video saying, hey, I'm gonna drop an album, but I don't know how to do any promotion for it, so nah. But then I started thinking, it's my responsibility to promote it however I can. So I thought maybe the videos would be nice, put a visual with it, and to be official, and that's what I did. Moving on, I'm gonna think of more things. So on that front, it got done. That is a success. Content. I put out albums all the time. That's not an issue. But content-wise, I more or less successfully transferred all my emotions into a listenable project, that's new for me. So that's a success. I kind of shied away from saying things personal like. So that's a success. Financially, I didn't put a number out there, but more or less it sold more than the project I didn't release. You gotta twist it to make it. So yeah, on that sense, success. Or you could look at it this way. I could have rented a studio. I'm in the States. It'd be pretty easy to find one, I guess. So I go to the studio, I'm paying $50 an hour or some shit, and then I release the project. Then I'd be a little, I'm negative, but I'm not negative because I did what I used what I could use. I wish it is what it is, you know, it's in the past, but I could have always done it this way, you know? Well, I mean, I always had my computer and I always had my mic. Anyway, but going to a studio has a different element to it. But basically, use what you have, make the best of it. So those 3 points. But yeah, in my book, this was a win. The kids nowadays say it's a W. It's a W. It's a W, but they don't say it's an L. They don't call things a loss. It's always a W, which is interesting, syntax-wise. How do they refer to something that is not? That's an L. Because we used to say it's an L, but not a W. Isn't that interesting? Well, I don't know. You guys live here. You like, bruh. Ain't no. Anyway. Last night. So, at this point, so you know what I love? Well, I find it interesting. Because again, you know, I'm just rambling about for 40 minutes. Ramble. And I don't think you could follow if you were just scrubbing about. You wouldn't be able to follow it because you'd have to literally go from the beginning. It'd be easier just to watch it one time than trying to reverse. But I think that's anything. Like you just walked in a room in a conversation and then he ate the box. You would think, what, depending who you are, you think, whose box? What kind of box? Was it a chocolate box? A chocolate box? But yeah, so chords. You hear me talking about chords. I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around the concept. I know the chords that all the songs, the pop chord or whatever, 1 4 5 1 maybe. I remember I met my ex, right? I remember reading about that in some books, and I was like, yeah, it's a 1 5 4 1, the 1 5 4, and I kept saying it. And she's like, what's a 1 4 5 1? Like I don't know, it's a chord progression that all the songs have. But
I'm in a bit of a pond this morning.
What's going on? But it was really nice because we didn't. At this point, we haven't really. I mean, we were exes. We dated for 3, then we broke up, and then we kept in touch, maybe birthdays. And on this day, she's like, "You should come over." So I came over, and it felt like how it used to be. She cooked me all this food that I couldn't eat. We're watching videos. She's laughing, and the conversation was, so what's going on? I said, not much. Because I don't want to bother people with, I thought of this yesterday, which was really funny to me. So I was at this video shoot. Actually, the girlfriend I'm talking, ex-girlfriend, we just broke up like that day. And I had a photo shoot. And I'm kind of melancholy. She's like, what's going on? I said, my girlfriend broke up with me. He said, you want to talk about it? I said, do you really want to know? She's like, yeah. Like, are you sure you want to know? Like, yeah. I'm like, you sure you want to know? She's like, yeah. So I start, and she's like, whatever, you'll get over it. Like, I literally, and then she's like, it's okay. You'll get over it. You're a cute guy. Actually, she didn't even say that. She just said, you'll get over it. Don't worry about it. Let's go. I was so pissed because I clearly asked you 3 times and you clearly, yeah. And needless to say, she never got the picture. I usually give the picture. Now, I paid her, but usually you want to get the pictures from the shoot to put in your portfolio. She didn't get shit. I think I blocked her. Another time with another friend at another photo shoot, we're sitting there on the couch. This is a long time friend, so we're just catching up. How's things going on? I was actually talking about my family. I said, it's my family's a little different. They're like, what do you mean? And I'm like, do you really want to talk about it? It's going to take a while to explain. She's like, not really. It is kind of late. I said, okay then. And this time I was not upset because, now one, we already had this conversation a lot, so you should already know. But she's honest. I don't really want to talk about it, But yeah. So the chords, right? How do you connect them? Like if you have a 1 4 5 1, do you repeat that chord forever? I mean, a 3-minute song, 1 4 5 1. Do you mathematically da 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 da? Now I have other apps that they show different chord progressions in the chorus, but I don't understand the relationship between, if you did a 1 4 5 1, then what is the best? I mean, granted, you could put the chords in after you make the song, but if you're going from the chords, it's confusing. So if somebody knows, now I do have the theory books, which I've been slacking, but again, this is a me thing. You can't expect, priorities, right? But I'm gonna release my album, blah 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 blah, and keep up with the music theory books when I have no reason to. Like, there's not a test, there's not a. But I know me. I know that if I bought the book versus if I download a free PDF, or if I pay for a class versus a book, if I have to show up, I don't look stupid where the teacher's like, "What's a 1451?" Like I'm paying money not to know. The books are the best I could do at this time. But so if you know, please enlighten me, because I'm working on my Christmas stuff, and I Googled Christmas chords, and it came up with the most famous one, which was Mariah Carey's, which is based on Bing Crosby. So that this guy out here all naked and shit, he's literally naked and shit, and his leg is shaking and shit, naked and shaking and shit. I don't even. Be strong. Be strong. All right. So but I don't know where to go, man. Cause he's naked. All right, he's not naked. He's topless. All right, he just walked away. Maybe I'll walk a little slow. Give some distance. But yeah, so they played the first 4 chords of the Mariah All I Want for Christmas. So, cause when I listen to just a block chord, I don't hear music. In the same way, if you hear the sample, what's a good one? It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard. Most of y'all who rock with this channel, you're thinking Jay-Z Annie, or maybe the Will Smith Annie, but you know, turn that bass and like. If you go back a little further, you're hearing the musical. But the producer, he heard the musical, but then he heard the rap. You know, like that. All right, he's safe. He's a naked fisherman, maybe. But but when I hear chords, it doesn't trend, because first of all, it's in block chords, like 4 notes. And most, like the Mariah Carey's dun 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 dun, it has a rhythm to it. So what I did notice, what's going on? If I take I don't know which, anyway, if I take the chord and then I sample it, resample the chord, and then chop the chord sample, then treat it like any other sample, it makes sense to me. But I'm trying to go back further and just set up the chord, because basically, I think I talked about this ad nauseum, but when I'm chopping, when most people chop, the chops kind of end up where the chords are hitting. Like if you take the beginning of the chorus, that's where the chords would change, because whatever. And if you do the bridge, like if you're doing it on the 1, and usually chords will fall on the 1, like like for example, Jay-Z's. So if you took the and then you flipped it, went backwards, I can't do it. But you get what I'm saying. Maybe you don't. I'm rambling here, but that's how my mind thinks. And the chords, I cannot wrap my head around it because I don't know. But I am getting it. Like when I hit a chord and I play the next one, it doesn't sound like I know. I wanted to, like, again, I brought this one up. So if there's someone out there who knows, please. Actually, I know a guy. I'm gonna hit him up because I know he plays the piano. I seen him, and I know he be watching because I seen him. Maybe he could enlighten me. Look at that. So this was therapy for me. I wouldn't have came to this conclusion without rambling down the street. And the second thing that I would need help if anyone of y'all know, I was my new album. I put it on the thing, and they asked for my BMI ASCAP thing. I made an account. I remember paying money. I believe they expired, but they still wanted it, and I was still able to connect it to that account. I don't know what. And then I was like, in Japan, one of my plans, it wrapped. But one of my plans was to get a publishing company, and I found I could get one. It's $150. So I want to do that. I'm gonna name it after my mom's name, maybe my mom and dad's name. Actually, maybe my mom and dad's middle name. That'd be cool. But I don't know anything about publishing. But the idea is to start, because I don't know I mean this video is getting too long. We're gonna come back to that maybe tomorrow if the weather's nice. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. Be safe and peace.